Hi everyone. So today Dom and I are going to be covering a new company called NextEra Energy, and Dom's going to go ahead with the company analysis and then the earnings, the current earnings.
Thank you. Let me share my screen.
All right.
All right, can you see it real quick?
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. So NextEra Energy, essentially they are like a energy provider for a lot of the U.S. So they have mostly power generation. They do it through a variety of things, but they on their website they say they're wholesale generators of electric power across all kinds of different fields. So they say renewables, storage, natural gas, nuclear, to quite a variety of ways that can get people to get power. They're primarily located in the southeast, so think like Florida, Georgia, Texas, but they do have other markets they're in as well, like the Northeast, like New Jersey. I think we saw they're also in California, so they're kind of around the U.S., but predominantly the Southeast. So we're also going to go over their Q3 results.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at an article from about a month ago from Yahoo Finance. And overall, we would say it probably was a pretty good Q3 for them. There is a little bit of downside, but we'll kind of get into it. So first thing, third quarter adjusted earnings of $1.13 per share exceeded expectations of $1.02 per share. Revenue came in at 7.97 billion, which was below the expected, which is at 8.17 billion. However, the shares did rise 1.7% following the announcement. Again, this was about a month ago, but still good to see that even with revenue down, shares still increased. Adjusted earnings increased 9.7% year over year from $1.03 per share in the same quarter of last year. So again, good to see. Rest of it just talks about them working with Google. They're going to have a collaboration with to revive nuclear energy options. Doesn't give much more detail than that, but something to kind of keep your eye on. Um, More about the third quarter results. Earnings per share increased 9.7% year over year, said the chairman, John Ketchum. He said that he believes that having this partnership with Google is going to really help them for the coming years, which is again something to keep our eye on. Their company subsidiary, Florida Power and Light, did an income of 1.46 billion or 71 cents per share, up from 1.29 billion or 63 cents per share in the prior year. So again, good to see. Primarily, they're saying that the revenue is driven by business investment and regulatory capital employed by increasing approximately 8% year over year. The company's clean energy business added 3 gigawatts to its project backlog during the quarter, bringing the total to nearly 30 gigawatts. So again, doing really good at helping more with renewables. A lot of people are trying to move to that, things like that. They also helped with a megawatt nuclear plant in Iowa to try and get that restarted in 2029. So a lot of things kind of on the horizon coming in the coming years to keep an eye on. And then finally, they maintained its 2025 adjusted earnings guidance of $3.45 to $3.70 per share, and then reaffirmed its 2026 and 27 targets of $3.63 to $4 and $3.85 to $4.32 respectively. They also continue to expect dividend growth of approximately 10% annually through at least 2026. So as we can see, doing pretty good for Q3, even though revenue was down a little bit, as you mentioned kind of in the beginning. Investors are pretty much invested in the like future of it and kind of seeing what the partnerships will do and like working with more nuclear energy, that kind of thing. So we'll kind of see how that goes as time goes on. But I will let Matt take over now and kind of go over the financials of the company and kind of see how they're doing right now.
All right. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share their previous free cash flow, and it does look a lot better. So 2021 negative 277 million. Now you have 3 billion. So the free cash flow is good here, but the interesting part that we have is if we check Simply Wall Street is going to say that it is currently just negative 11 billion, and then next 3 years, negative 8.59 billion. So I'm not sure if there's some kind of glitch or if the tickers are the same and everything. So I'm not really sure if it's the same. What happened there? What's the discrepancy? But yeah, that's what they're reporting. The financial health of the company is not great. You have just significantly high levels of debt. And that just overtakes the cash, the equity, and you could see here that everything is just in very bright red. So you have to be highly cautious of this company overall. We are going to see next My DCF is really not going to matter because since they're not free cash flow positive, it's just all overvalued technically because that's what we're calculating. And so there's nothing much more to say. And lastly, if we're going to see Tipranks is going to give it a strong buy for some reason. 12 buys, 4 holds, and a low of 84 and an average of 92. I'm not 100% sure why they would still give it an upside when there's no free cash flow growth. Maybe it's because they had a good quarter and this is more of a trade, which I guess I would be able to see, but I don't think I could, at a safety, recommend the company exactly. Dom, is there anything you wanted to add?
The one thing I can think of is maybe their outlook is for the future of it. Like I was
Yeah,
saying before, they have the partnership with Google. They're trying to do the nuclear uh, thing with them. They were doing the thing in the Iowa. We're trying to get another nuclear plant up and running in 2029. So I mean, I think maybe like a lot of the speculation is that in a few years, when those partnerships really flourish and the results, like the fruit of their labor comes to, they kind of reap the rewards then and to kind of get in. I think that might be the only reason because like we kind of saw like a lot of the cash flow wasn't the best, growth projection wasn't the greatest.
yeah,
So it is kind of strange to see mostly all buys and no no one sells.
yeah,
So interesting.
yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Dom. Appreciate it.
Uh, Thank you.